Lisa. All right. I didn't think we came out very sharp. We didn't look as quick. Our switches on defense weren't real good. We didn't squeeze. We talked about the mismatch and being able to squeeze off of certain players. We didn't do that well. Gave them a 12-point lead till we started getting it a little bit better. Started doing that a little bit better. They got all the 50-50 balls, stepped quicker. But again, they were 0-2, so they're fighting as hard as they can fight not to start toward the bottom of the league. So good win on the road. Anytime you can win on the road, team that plays as hard as they played against us, a good win.
Dan, when you start that slow, what does it say that you and the guys stuck with the game plan and were able to pull out of that double-digit deficit there in the first and second half, to get back in it?
Well, the first half I called timeout. I think it was 10-2. I called my first timeout, trying to get a little semblance of urgency in our play. I don't know. You just do the best you can, show them how passionate you are in the huddle without being too negative. Most of it's positive passion. Just show them that you're passionate, that you're in the ball game, you're alert, you're fighting with them. And if you got a good team, and I think we do, and you got good young men, they catch on and they go out on the court and perform.
Dan, could you talk a little bit about Nate Martin's performance tonight? I know a lot of focus on him being a transfer from Texas State, but once the game got started, did he just settle in and it's just another game for him?
Well, he had a big crowd here. His family had a big family, had 50 people here watching him play. Got a double against his old team. Can't be anything but happy. You want to kind of solidify what he did by moving to us, and he made the right move. And I'm sure that helped. I'm sure he's happy. And they doused him with water in the locker room. I'm glad that was him, not me. but you know what? He's a trustworthy warrior. He's gonna go out and fight you, and did a nice job. And you know what? Steps up, makes 3 out of 4 free throws at the end, and that's probably not his strength.
When you look at that second half, free throw shooting was big there, but did you kind of sense that you had to amp up the aggression and start driving to the basket a little bit more, and go after a guy like Brandon Love defensively, because he fouled out of the game that last minute?
Well, that was what the first time out was about, and that was what the halftime was about. And that's what every time out that came over there was about, is that we can't let them win the 50-50s. And when they drive, you got to condense the floor. You got to come in. They did hit 1-3, kicking it back out. I think Shields or Skills or whatever his name is, he hit a 3. And but most of the time, once it's in there, it's in there. And you got to get back in there and make sure you have the same numbers they have. And after that, it's just tug of war. You got to pull it out.
Obina has another big night. His fourth 20-point game on the road this year. Is it nice to have that kind of offense that carries? And as a team, you shot the ball well tonight.
I'm trying to tell him not to do that. No, I'm teasing. You know what? He's a different animal, right? You didn't expect that. I didn't. I don't know that anybody did. You know what? Give credit to the young man. He comes out, works in the arena every day, trying to get his game the way it should be. People, this is for our fan base. You got to appreciate these teams and how hard they work to do well by them and represent Marshall. So, I'm proud of him, and he just had a normal, now what I consider a normal low game.
Speaking of players, Kevon Boyles, you've talked about him, how he's progressed. What'd you see out of him tonight? 16 points, pretty happy with that?
What I liked was the end. When he came in, he really made the 2 plays that helped seal the game. And, he's a tough competitor. He's having to adapt his game a lot to play in the style that we play. It was rough at the beginning of the year. He didn't know kind of where to go, what to do, and he was actually overplaying the game, handling the ball too much, and the ball didn't get moved. We didn't have movement. We didn't have assists. And if you remember, Jacob Connor, a lot of games didn't even shoot the ball or get a score. But then, he started realizing his role. He started getting to the corners. He allows the open floor. Jacob now kind of manipulate the ball a little bit. We share it better, and our assist totals have gone up.
Get to spend any time with your brother? I saw him on broadcast a couple times.
Yeah, too much. He came by for lunch, and we're tight. That's a friendship for life. And brought his son. Get to see his son. They're staying home. Laurel stayed home because University of Washington, she graduated from there. So they got a big party tomorrow for the football game on Monday. Excuse me. But she's preparing. But you know what, Mike and I go back long, long way of just being a lot. That's a great relationship. So yeah, I'm glad to see him anytime he comes.
Who paid for lunch?
He's paid for my way all my life, and I gladly accept and say thank you. And he's a generous human being, and I always when I was in the NBA, we were riding around. I always stayed close because he said, we're going to go eat so and so. I said, okay, I'm going, because I knew who was going to pay for it. But just a genuine human being and a hell of a coach.
All right, Coach, you had your struggles to begin the year, but now you're on 3-game winning streak and 3-0 in conference play. What does that show about your team's development as of late?
Well, again, I've kind of explained it. Just putting people in the right positions and allowing Jacob to be the focal point of the initial attack and getting him in there. If you remember the first year, now there was one game I don't think he took a shot, and he never got the ball. Because Cam and Kevon kept beating him to it. We never could get him the ball, and I couldn't get people down to the corners. You'd think you could put it on the board and just say, okay, fellas, I want you to do this, and you get it done. But, players have their ideas too, how to play. Sometimes you have to wait until they give you that opportunity and they're looking for help. Then when they're looking for help, that's when you step in and you get kind of what you want. And that's what happened. First of the year, we looking for help because we weren't playing well. Then I stepped in and say, hey guys, you got to go here, you got to go here. And now, they've accepted it. Everybody seems to have the roles. Our assists are up, our shooting percentages are up. We're playing much smoother. Defense has been there all along. It was probably as bad as I've seen it tonight. So we're going to have to look at that hard and make sure we get it better.
Thanks, Dan.